Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Merry Christmas and a happy new year. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to find out who you're running as inside your container. Who your, what user your container is going to run as. That's what we're trying to find out. Okay, so let's do this the easy way. Podman images. I have no images. Podman PS. I have no running containers. Podman PS-A shows that I have no stopped containers. So I have nothing on my system. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do Docker or Podman, but we're going to do Podman run, and we're going to run a Nginx container from the Docker hub. So we say docker.io library Nginx. Now we could just say Nginx. We don't have to specify this whole verbose name, but it's not what this lesson is about right now. This lesson is just about how to find out who you are running inside your container. So we're going to run it, and then we're going to also use the --rm flag. And what that flag does is it basically it will delete the container, so it won't be left around. The container is not going to run anyway because I'm going to override the container with this command, this Linux command called whoami. So I'm overriding whatever inside the container has been set as the command. You can override a command, but you cannot override an entry point. We'll talk about that again later, but that's not the purpose of this particular lesson. We're just trying to see who your container is going to run as. So we're going to put whoami at the end. We're going to hit run. What it's doing here when it's saying trying to pull, it means it's trying to pull from Docker Hub. So trying to pull library /nginx, docker.io/library/nginx latest, because I did not specify a tag on the end of my image name. So by default, it's going to use a tag called latest. So if you see down here, it completed its task and it put root. So you see it says root. That was the command. That was the result of whoami. If I do ps-a, podman ps-a, you see I have no containers left around because I did the --rm flag. Now if I do docker images again, because remember it pulled down that image before it ran it as a container. So docker, I meant to say Podman images. I don't have an alias set up for Docker yet. So now you see here is the image that I pulled down. Now, we ran the image and then we executed a command called whoami in the image. In the running container as we ran it. So we executed whoami and that told us who the container was running as. But we can find out ahead of time if we want. We can find out who the container is going to run as. How do we do that? We can inspect the image. So if I do podman inspect, now if I do podman inspect image and I put in the name of this image, again, I don't have to put this whole thing verbose, but I'm just doing it like this. So you probably get in the habit of doing it yourself, but I could have just put in Nginx and it would have known which one I was talking about because I only have one Nginx repository or index or image name right now. So inspect image. So when I hit enter, I'm going to pipe this into less because when I hit enter, it's going to spill a bunch of stuff to my screen. So it's in JSON format. So this is the container image, okay? So this is the JSON that makes up the container image. Now, since I know it spits out a bunch of JSON, the command you're going to want to start getting used to a lot of times using is the JQ command. If you're not familiar with it, do some quick Googling, learn how to use it because it's going to come in handy when it comes to parsing JSON for container images. So I'm going to pipe it into JQ and I'm going to look for config.user. Says no image. Podman inspect image, no such image. Okay, what did I do wrong? Podman inspect image. What does it say? Let's see. Podman inspect image. Docker.io, blah, blah, blah. No such object image. I'm not sure what that means. Let me do something else just to make sure. To make sure I'm doing the right thing. Let's do head -1. Oh, Podman inspect image. Duh. I should be doing Podman image inspect. Sorry. Makes a lot of sense because I was doing Podman image, it thought that I was asking for an object. There's no object called image that would be an argument to the Podman command. I mean, no object called inspect. I'm sorry, no object called inspect, because I said, I'm sorry. Let me back up. I was saying Podman inspect image, but it's Podman image inspect. So when you just do Podman inspect, it assumes that the next argument is going to be a running container name, because you can just do Podman inspect and it assumes that it's inspecting a container. If you do Podman image inspect, it assumes you're inspecting a container image. So anyway, so we run this again. So let's fix our command. So we say Podman image inspect. Image inspect, and we gave it the name of the image. And there's a blank string. The reason it's blank is because nothing was configured. There's no user configured inside the container file or Docker file or whatever built the image. There was no user configured to run. So the default user that's going to run is going to be the root user. Okay. Let's try to see if we can pull an image. Let's see if we can try to pull down an image, another type of image, where something was configured to run as a specific user. Let's try MySQL. So Podman, let's run, and we want to delete the container when we're done, but let's pull down a Docker MySQL image. So MySQL latest, and we're going to say, who am I? So it's trying to pull it, pulls it down. The user should be MySQL is what my assumption is going to be. The user that this container is going to run as. Taking a little while because it's pulling it down. Come on. Okay, and it says it's running as root. Okay, so it runs as root. A lot of Docker images run as root. But let's try to pull one. Let's find one from Red Hat. Let's do that. Podman, search. Teaching you some other things here because now we're getting into how to search repositories. So Podman, we're going to search for MySQL, but we want to search registry.access.redhat.com. We're going to search that. And we're looking for MySQL in that particular registry. And we want to limit it to, like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 results. So let's see what we get. Let's see. Okay, so we get 3 results here. We got an OpenShift. We got this one. Let's just grab this one right here. Okay. And Podman. Now we're going to run it. RM, because we want it to delete the container. We don't need to run -d in detach mode because we're going to override whatever is the command that's been set up to run. We're going to override it with the whoami. So let's see. It's got to pull it down. It's going to run it. And let's see what user it's configured to run as. Almost at 10 minutes with this video, and I want to keep my videos at a 10-minute mark. just so you can learn a little thing and then keep it moving. Okay, MySQL. So that's what it's running as. You guys see that I'm highlighting MySQL. But in case you didn't, I'm going to run it again. You see it says it runs as MySQL. Podman images. I see the 3 images I've brought down so far that I've been playing with. And now we want to use this one. And I want to show you guys an example of inspecting Podman image inspect, of inspecting an image where there actually is something configured inside the user, config, inside the user section. Now, it says 27. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, hey, Elliot, it says 27. It does not say MySQL. You just showed me, as you see right here, every time you run this, it should be MySQL. Well, 27 is actually the ID of the user MySQL, more than likely. It's running inside the container. Because you know, if you do ID on any machine, Linux machine, whatever, you see a bunch of stuff in here. You see IDs along with. But just to prove my point, who am I? Now, inside the container, let's just run the ID command. Because remember, it's already running as MySQL user, and you see 27. And that's how you know. And here's another little tip. You could also cat etc password file. And let's grep for MySQL. This is inside the container, by the way, guys. And you see it there, inside the container. So that's it. That's how you find out who you're running as inside a container. You can run a container image, type who am I, or you can actually inspect. You can inspect. Oh, one last quick thing. Let's see if we can actually inspect a container. Let's say we didn't use the RM. So we're going to leave the container around, and we're going to say podman ps-a. Here's the container that exited beautifully. Exited 0 means it exited with no problems. It did what we wanted it to do. It ran whoami. And anything other than exit code 0, there's an issue. You might want to look into the logs. So if we do podman inspect on Serene Dubinsky, I like that name. Serene Dubinsky. Pipe that in the JQ, and let's see if it's in the same location. .config, .user. Yep, you still get the same thing. All right, we're at 13 minutes. Peace out, guys. We'll see you tomorrow with another container Podman lesson. Until then, peace.